Yo, I'm Brendan. Today we're going to talk about Hood Week from Robinhood and decide if these offers are great, if they're trustworthy, should we do them, is it worth transferring over our accounts, and what, most importantly, are the fine prints? Is this a deal that we want to support and use, or is it a deal we want to chop? Forget this deal. I just wanted an excuse to use the axe behind me. Okay, I'll put it back. These 3 offers from Robinhood only last for 12 days from now until October 27th, but even if you're watching this in the future, the truth is they've done similar things to this like 2 other times in the past, so that means this is the 3rd time we've had offers like this from Robinhood, and I don't want to promise you that these are going to come back around in a month or 2, but they have in the past. So I don't think it's the end of the world if you don't want to do this right now, or if you're watching this in the future. I think there's a chance they come back around, and if they do, here are the things you need to know. Besides the presentation that Robinhood did where they unveiled some new features and things like that I'll link at the end of this video, Hood Week is about these 3 transfer offers. All of this is trying to cannibalize and take over your accounts from other brokerages and bring them over to Robinhood. I've done this a couple different times now in the last year, and so I'm kind of familiar with this. I thought I could talk you through my experience with it because at first it seems a little bit like sketchy or difficult or whatever. It's really not. I had never done it before this year, and by following the directions on the website, you can get through the process pretty easily. The biggest thing that I learned that's the biggest hang up for me is you can't transfer over mutual funds. So if the things you're investing in your other brokerages are mutual funds, know that right now upfront. Whatever else you have in there that are individual stocks or ETFs or other transferable assets that you could move over, that's the balance that then could apply to this, and you could get a bonus from that. But I've got like 70 grand that I could have moved over, but it's in mutual funds, and so I can't transfer it over here, so I miss out on that bonus. I'd say personally the biggest news here is that these are unlimited bonuses. So if you're somebody that's inherited a bunch of money, you've worked really hard, somehow you've made a bunch of gains, whatever it is, the bonuses you get from this are unlimited. We're talking about transferring in millions of dollars, and you can get thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in a bonus for doing this. Pretty cool. I love they didn't put a cap on this. A lot of other brokerages do that. So what kind of accounts can you transfer over? Well, you can transfer over individual retirement accounts. Of course, Robinhood would love for you to transfer over margin balances because they're going to make extra money on that. And then you can also transfer other taxable brokerage accounts. Critically, you don't have to finish the transfer by October 27th, you have to start the transfer. So even if you're seeing this at the last minute, you can still potentially claim the bonus. How much bonus are we going to get? The smallest bonus you can get is a 1% uncapped bonus whenever you transfer over a brokerage account into a Robinhood brokerage account. Part of the reason why you'd want to do this in general is that you're not going to have a taxable event happen. If you sold all the things that you were investing in your other brokerage account, let's say it's Interactive Brokers, you liquidated that account, then any of those gains that you've made by investing in that account now become a taxable situation for you. How exactly that affects you depends on you and your life and the rest of your taxable situation there, but it's not great because you don't want to get taxed right now. You want to keep those unrealized gains as unrealized, transfer over your investments into Robinhood. You're transferring over the actual stocks and ETFs and things that you've bought and just moving them from that brokerage into Robinhood. So in this case, whenever you do that with the brokerage, it's only 1%. If you have that same exact scenario, but you've got an account transfer that has at least $10,000 in margin balance, margin availability, an actual margin balance that you've taken out, you get a 2% uncapped bonus. And I had someone in the comments of a previous video asking about like, what does this mean? How do I get this 2% uncapped bonus? If you're not familiar, margin is where you take out a loan and your investments remain with that broker as collateral on your loan. You know, think about it like right now, I'm in my house and our mortgage is a loan that I have to pay back over a number of years. For us, it was 10 years. And if I don't pay it back, the collateral on the loan is the house. So for some reason I disappear and I move to Germany, I become a race car driver and I just disown this house, the bank just takes the house. That's what the collateral's purpose is for. It's a backup plan for them. Same thing with margin. You borrow money on your invested money, and the backup plan is the investments. If they say, oh, you're not paying this back ever, or for whatever reason we need a margin, call you and say we want our loan back, and you don't do it, okay, we already have your money. We'll just take your investments back. Bye. That's the 1-minute synopsis of what margin is. So if you're somebody who, let's say, has a margin balance with Interactive Brokers, or worse off, you're somebody who has a margin balance with somebody like Schwab or Vanguard, or I don't know, anybody else who has like really high margin rates. I was just looking at the Vanguard margin rates recently. Crazy. They're like 11%. If you move that over to Robinhood, not only do you get this 2% uncapped bonus, which is pretty awesome, you also get a margin rate that is way, way less. Like as of right now, it's between 5.2% and 6.25%. For most of us, it's probably that 6.25% because it depends on how much money you've taken out that your margin rate is. If anybody has $50 million plus in margin, you're operating on a different page. You have advisors to help you through this. What are you doing watching my videos? Actually, please stay here. Thank you. But if you're this person with, let's say, $10,000 in margin and you have your margin rate from coming over from Vanguard into Robinhood, that's huge. This is going to save you a ton of money. So that's an interesting bonus. But the biggest bonus of them all is this 3% bonus. Significantly, though, with this IRA transfer offer, you have to have Robinhood Gold. You got to be paying the $5, $6, $7 a month, whatever it costs in your area to get Robinhood Gold to be allowed to have this offer. The other two, Don't say that. I read the terms and conditions. I'm looking here at the website. I don't see any mention of that for those. Just the third one, the 3% uncapped bonus for IRA transfers. That's where I see the need for Robinhood Gold. Just be forewarned. So critically, to do this, you need to have a transfer into an IRA, and it's got to either come from another IRA or from an existing like old 401k. This is exactly what I did. I quit my job, had the 401k account sitting there. That's still my money. It's not like that's company money. I own it. It's in my name. But the problem is if you abandon a 401k, you can't have the same level of control as if you have it in an IRA. So because that was a traditional 401k, I transferred it into a traditional IRA to avoid any taxable event. That was another question somebody had in the comments was, why didn't you use Roth? Because it's going to be tax-free whenever you retire. It grows tax-free. It's so amazing. Well, to do that transfer right now and to go from a traditional to a Roth style account, you create that taxable event on all your contributions that you've had up until that point. Now that becomes taxable. So yeah, if you've got a budget for whatever it would be, $10,000, $20,000 in taxes, depending on how much you're transferring over, that's fine. But I don't have $10,000 or $20,000 in cash I'm trying to give the tax man right now to do that Roth conversion. I'd rather just leave it traditional. I'm happy to have a big chunk of our money in a traditional style retirement account. So move that over from the 401k hosting company into Robinhood. I got this 3% bonus. And with all of these, the critical thing that we need to know is if you take money out afterwards and the amount that you take out for the 2 years after you do this transfer in here exceeds the transferred amount that you put in, then you lose that percentage of the bonus. So here's an example. Let's say we transfer in $100,000 because we moved our IRA from Vanguard into Robinhood. Sweet, we get a 3% bonus. We got a $3,000 deposit in our account, boom, right away. It's partially why I like the way Robinhood does this is they give you that bonus right up front. Then all that extra money is growing for you. It's investable. It's really cool. Let's say 1 year later, the account has grown a bit. It's grown to $110,000, but you decide, you know what? It's time to buy that used Porsche Cayman that I've always wanted. So you go on Cars and Bids, you bid one up, you've got one for $40,000 and you withdraw $40,000 from your Robinhood account. So you went from 110 down to 70. What Robinhood sees is, hey, only a year after you did that transfer, you've taken out a $30,000 chunk of that original balance that you've put in, which means that $30,000 chunk now loses its bonus. So 3% of $30,000 is $900. You would lose $900 worth of that original $3,000 bonus. In the Robinhood fine print legalese, they call that the net transferred asset value. So that original amount that you put in there has to remain the same. It's cool that it can go up in value, and then you can potentially remove, let's say, your gains. You can remove interest you've earned on that cash or whatever you're doing with your investments. If you keep that original transfer amount the same, the bonus stays. Hence the net verbiage. It doesn't mean you can't touch your account. It doesn't mean you can never withdraw any money. It just means the net amount you put in there has to stay the same to keep the whole bonus. I'm just saying it's totally fine to remove your own money. It's your money. If you're happy to lose the bonus, that's cool. This whole explanation is just trying to say, how do you keep the bonus? A couple more things for you about this net transfer amount. If you start using margin and you take out an amount of margin from your account, that decreases your net transferred asset value. So if in our original example, you had $100,000 in there and you took out $10,000 of margin to do whatever with, buy burritos and race cars, put somewhere else, buy an engagement ring, whatever your prerogative is, that counts essentially as a withdrawal. And so they would remove a proportional amount of your bonus for that. And then they give us a nice little list of all the things that if you do it, then they take away a proportional amount of your bonus. So transferring funds from your brokerage account, including a withdrawal, transferring money out of Robinhood, transferring to another Robinhood account, which I think is pretty tricky. So if you're transferring between a joint and individual brokerage account, then that can lower your net transfer amount. So to me, it seems like that shouldn't be the way it is because it's still within Robinhood. Like, let's say I've got $100,000 in that brokerage account that's for me, then I open a joint account because I'm like, Robinhood's so great. I want my family to be in here too. Let's have a joint account. And I put $10,000 from here to there. They're counting that like a withdrawal. They're saying like it's the same thing as not having put the money in there. So they'll remove that chunk of the bonus. The same rules apply if you take money from there, from that initial brokerage transfer, and you put it in a Robinhood retirement account. That's a little messy though, because right now they have a bonus on the retirement account too. So I don't know how that kind of works, but I'm assuming that by this language, they're saying if you go from brokerage to retirement account, you lose the bonus, period. Then also a withdrawal from a Robinhood crypto account applies and counts as an outflow that reduces that net transferred asset value, reduces that bonus by a proportional amount. So is this worth doing? Can we trust that they're actually going to give us the bonus, or should we be sketched out? Well, in my experience, this has worked flawlessly. I've both gotten a 1% and a 3% bonus for those different reasons for money that I put into a brokerage account. I've seen the bonus come in. Then I've also withdrawn money from that same account and I've seen that piece of the bonus go out. So that system works like basically in real time. It's very clear. They give you notifications. You can see what's happening. Then the 3% bonus for their IRA transfer deal, that completely works. My experience with it has been exactly as they describe on here, if not better, because that transfer happens so quickly and so immediately. It's very straightforward. It's very clear. And I love that you get the bonus right up front in one big fat chunk. So for me, in my situation, I thought it was worth it. For you, you've got to decide. Are you willing to trade brokerages largely for this reason? Like if we're talking about this, you're probably going after the bonus, right? Or maybe you're just open to using Robinhood because you like Robinhood. But if you like your current brokerage, let's say it's Vanguard, and you're only doing this for the transfer, you've got to be okay putting up with whatever it means to be a Robinhood investor for 2 years to keep this whole bonus. If that doesn't make sense for you, or you don't want to go through the rigmarole, don't do it. Speaking of rigmarole, what about taxes? If you're getting a 3% uncapped bonus on this, that's some kind of income, right? Aren't you going to get taxed on this? I believe so. Based on what I read in the terms and conditions, it says, of course, consult with your tax advisor, but it says for taxable accounts, the value of the Robinhood offers that you receive will be reported as interest on a Form 1099 int. I don't know if I should expect that or not for my traditional style IRA, because the whole point with that is that you sort of divert taxes until later on in the future, whenever you pull that money out for retirement. So I don't think I'm going to expect that for my traditional situation, but I don't know for sure. It is for sure that for taxable accounts, you're going to get a 1099 int for that. If you're not familiar with that term, that Form 1099 int, that's the tax form that you get issued from like a brokerage or your bank if you get savings interest. So it's the same thing as if you had a 5% high yield savings account, you make $20 on it this year, they send you a form at the end of the year that says, hey, you basically made income from us. Here's the form. We're giving this to the IRS too, so you have to report this as income. From the little bit of research I did, it looks like 1099 int income is reported the same as W-2 income. It's earned income. So it gets essentially the worst tax treatment possible. This isn't the most efficient way for you to have income, but it's really just a one-time bonus situation for these offers. So it's not like you're going to keep repeating this and somehow get shortchanged or whatever. But the TLDR version of that is you're responsible for paying taxes on this bonus that you get. Robinhood has no tax handling or tax treatment of that for you. Regardless of how you feel about Robinhood, which even I don't feel super warm and fuzzy about them, I like that they're pushing the limits. I like that they're creating excitement around their product offerings because the financial space, needs that. We need to be livened up a little bit here and there. Because of this, I want to see other brokerages be challenged into creating other attractive offers too. Like in contrast to this, I feel like Vanguard lately has just been overworking their marketing department to try and sell you more stuff. They're not actually creating more value and more offers like this to draw you in. They're just like, hey, by the way, you could give us more money if we did that for you, which to me is not appealing. This kind of thing I think is more appealing. It creates competition in the market. It's a legitimate offer for us as customers that can help us out. So I'm down with this kind of thing, but you do you. You've got to make your own financial decisions for your life. Today's secret comment word is bacon, because Gemini AI from Google was like, you should try out our AI image generator. And I was like, fine. How about a cinematic realistic photo of a boat cruising down the Amazon River, but the boat's made entirely of bacon? And at first they give me this little thing, which is like a toy. I don't want that. So I said, make the boat huge. Hey, there we go. Okay, that's the river boat that I'd want to be on. A lot of pollution there, not a very clean boat. An accurately sized boat for the Amazon River for people to cruise on. It's made of bacon. Why not? Thank you so much for watching, especially members for your monthly support. To everyone else, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good weekend. Bye.